Right, we're sitting here in Mercedes-Benz head office, and with me I have Mr. Jasper Hafkamp. And Mr. Jasper Hafkamp has been in South Africa as head of Daimler Trucks and Buses Southern Africa for the past 3 years, on a contract for 3 years. And we're very sad to hear that Jasper is on his way out of here. The contract's in, but it's not the contract that's in. He's just so good, done such a remarkable job in South Africa that they've now said there's only one man to head our international marketing division of Mercedes-Benz Trucks, and that is Mr. Jasper Hafkamp. Jasper, it's been a great ride for you in South Africa. We're actually very sorry to leave you. You had big boots to fill after Kobus van Zyl, and I think you filled those boots so admirably, and I've heard a lot of people agree with that statement. So we're going to be sorry to miss you. We know that you guys sort of come and go on contracts and all that, you're international roamers. But Jasper, your experience of South Africa, from a personal point of view first, with your family over here, and from a business point of view, how did you find the past 3 years?
Yeah, thank you for your compliment, Patrick. Really appreciate it. And I can tell you it was also, 3 years is maybe a little bit too short to stay in the country. So it was the plan initially to extend the contract. But let's say, when you get a phone call and you get the opportunity to take over such a position within Mercedes-Benz Trucks, you can't say no. Huh? So I'm very proud that I will move to Stuttgart. It's for me the first time in headquarters, and it gives me the opportunity to bring in all the experience out of Europe and out of overseas now in South Africa into our Mercedes-Benz Trucks headquarters. And actually, I think it was a very nice journey, to be honest. I think with the family, it was our first assignment outside of the Netherlands, after many years in the Netherlands. And I think we settled in quite nicely. Of course, it's different. It's a different country. But I think with such nice people in the country, with the whole diversity in the country, with the nice weather, the food, the wine, I can tell you we really enjoyed South Africa. And I think, of course, there's a business reason for being here, but it's always nice to find a nice balance also with your family and to do some traveling around the country and really enjoy the country. So we enjoyed it very much the last 3 years. It was a very nice journey, a very nice experience, and I think also from a business perspective, coming in a large and big organization and big boots to fill. I think you already mentioned it, and I think it was a nice journey with the team together to really develop and bring the team and the Mercedes-Benz Trucks and Fuso business to the next level. Because I think that was really what we did. There's so much change in our industry, and our total product portfolio changed in the last 3 years on the Fuso side and the MB Truck side. So it was a nice journey to bring in the new products into the market and also see the successes in the market. And at the end, it's about the customer. So we need happy customers. And I think with our new Actros and also, let's say, the extension and expansion of our Fuso family, I think we were really able to satisfy a lot of customers over the last 3 years.
Fantastic. Now, you mentioned just now that you brought a lot of experience in from Europe, and we need that because we're in a global market today. It's not South Africa was under sanctions for many years, so we're very isolated. We had to make it on our own through no fault of the world, our own fault. And what are you going to take back to Europe from South Africa? Are there lessons that you've got here from our markets, from our operators who are very different? Hulle is boere, jong. The Afrikaner is a different guy. I love him, man. What are you going to take back to Europe? Is there stuff you can take back and implement? Because you go now as international marketing manager of the whole of Mercedes-Benz Trucks, global, huge. Is there anything you can take back from South Africa?
Yeah, I definitely think so, Patrick. And of course, it was nice engaging with all the customers in the country, especially with Afrikaans customers, especially when they more or less sometimes refuse to speak English to me. And then my Dutch background helped me, to be honest.
Of course, of course.
No, I think I will take a lot of things back to Europe and back to headquarters. I think Mercedes-Benz Trucks is very much focusing on the European markets and is really expanding the footprint in the world. And I think our products in our country with different cross vehicle weights with 6x4 tractors, with construction vehicles. I think there are different needs in our country compared to the European environment, and that's really a learning of the last 3 years. I will take back into the new position. That we really try to optimize our product portfolio for overseas markets like South Africa. And I think that's very important, that we really fill, let's say, the gaps we're having in our product setup, and that we continue developing products also for markets like this. And I think, let's say, the fact that we brought in the Euro 5 already in an early stage, without any legislation or upcoming legislation on Euro 5, I think that already shows that we take these kind of markets and the South African market very serious, because it was the first overseas market where we introduced this Euro 5 engine on the new Actros, or in the new Actros. So yeah, I will definitely take a lot of experience with me, and I can also promise you I will use that information and that experience into my new role, being globally responsible for marketing.
Brilliant. Because I think, a lot of people underestimate the South African market when they don't know it. They look at it as, merely third world. And I always say that it's a mixture of first world and third world operators. I don't mean that in the traditional sense, but we've got world-class operators. Then we've got a lot of medium to small operators, some of whom are exceptionally good, some of whom should not be near this industry. They're absolute rubbish. They run their trucks rubbish. So you've got this whole mix. And also you've got an interesting scenario, where you have every manufacturer in the world wanting to sell tractor. Yeah. The Euro 5, just to linger on that for a little while. You and I were chatting earlier on, and I thought Euro 5 was 10 ppm. And we have dirty diesel here. You're making, in Europe, Mercedes-Benz making Euro 3 trucks still. We're on Euro 3. That's got to be uneconomical for you. That's got to come to an end sometime. What's the way forward for South Africa? Euro 3, Euro 5, in the absence of any government legislation or any government move to clean up our fuel in terms of policy.
Yeah, for my position, I can only recommend to go to Euro 5 as quickly as possible, and maybe even as a kind of pre-fulfillment of Euro 5 future possible Euro 5 legislation. And I think it has also to do with, and you just alluded to it, to the kind of customers in South Africa. And you just mentioned, are they on an European level or is it a real African customer? I always state I think South Africa is somewhere in between. I visited and I engaged with a lot of customers that really have the level of the European top haulage companies. They really know their total cost of ownership. Sometimes they really have real-time total cost of ownership of their trucks. And I was really impressed by the level of professionalism in the South African market. And that's, I think, also the reason why we are successfully selling our new products that are really focusing on total cost of ownership, connectivity, safety, all the new features in the market. So I think that's very important. And coming back to your question about Euro 5, I think for us as an OEM, for Mercedes-Benz Trucks and also for Fuso, we are developing new products, especially based on Euro 5, Euro 6 technology. And I think the earlier we can bring in those products and those product portfolio into the South African market, I think that will be a huge benefit for our customers at the end, because we will make a next step in fuel efficiency. We will make next steps in connectivity, because we bring in the let's say the European technology that's available today into the South African market. So I would say don't wait for Euro 5 legislation, really go for a kind of pre-fulfillment. And of course, it comes with some challenges on AdBlue, but I think at the moment, AdBlue infrastructure in South Africa is already there. I think it's widely available. And if you really want to move to Euro 5, I think the moment is there to do it.
Okay, we're gonna really emphasize that it's time for South Africa to say, forget Euro 3, move to Euro 5. My fear, of course, is that by staying in Euro 3, we're going back to the old sanctions days, ADE. We're missing out on huge technological advancements in engines and various other peripheries on a truck by hanging in Euro 3. Government, are you listening? Are you listening? Listen carefully. Global warming and all that. To be serious about it, let's move our butts on it. What is your message to South Africans? I know that in your position, Jasper, which always disappoints me when I get with people like you, cannot, or you do not. It's not right to comment on politics. We know that the politics in South Africa has been horrible. The corruption, the state capture, everything has put us backwards, almost destroyed the country. We've got Eskom in the doldrums, we've got SABC, etc., etc. It's a tremendously difficult market to be running trucks in. I know that I've been in this industry 46 years, and I think it's one of the hardest times for truckers. What's your advice after looking at all the conditions of South Africa, the whole mix of South African circumstances, taking into politics? I don't want you to talk about it, I know you won't, but taking in the economy, taking in the people, taking in everything. What's your advice to South African truckers going forward?
Yeah, I think you already alluded. I think it's tough outside, and it's very challenging times, I think, in our industry. On the other hand, I see the truck market is growing, and I see a lot of professional truckers around in South Africa. They are very persistent. And one thing what I learned over the last 3 years, South Africans are always very positive and optimistic. And I think you need it. So continue with that. I think that's very important. Maybe don't wait before everything gets better. I think ignite yourself. I think that's another statement from my side. So please continue with investment in new technology. I think that's very important. And I think there's so much potential in the country, and I think the diversity is beautiful. I see also a great future, but I think at the end we have to do it ourselves.
Man, that statement has cheered me up. Really, that is fantastic. Because even me, sometimes it gets on top of me, and I'm quite an optimistic guy. But we'll keep fighting on. Jasper, on that very positive note and very encouraging note, because you have a global view. You've worked all over the world. You're going into Germany, although Jasper is not from Germany, Netherlands actually. So you helped around the bright places in South Africa with Afrikaans. Jasper, on behalf of the trucking industry of South Africa, I'd just like to say thanks. I've got to know you over these 3 years. As I said, you had big boots to fill, and you filled them so admirably. You've got close to the customers, close to your staff. You're an approachable person, you're a human person, and you're a very knowledgeable person. Otherwise, you would not be sitting, I know, in this wonderful office if you weren't also a good corporate businessman. So you kept it all on track. On behalf of all truckers in South Africa, not just Mercedes-Benz customers, I'd just like to say thank you, and we'd like to wish you well in your new position as you head back to European shores. We're going to stay in touch with you here. You can't forget South Africa once you've been there, can you? Say goodbye to everyone.
Yeah, I think it was really a pleasure working in the South African market or the South African region. I really enjoyed my engagement with customers, with you, with the media, with the dealers, with my team. It was a wonderful learning. It was a wonderful time. I will never forget it, those 3 years in South Africa. It really also made me a better leader from my perspective and a better person. This is not a goodbye. This is for me more something like, in Afrikaans we say tot ziens, that's also Dutch. So it's for me more, see you in the future, we will meet again, definitely. And tot ziens, and we stay in touch. Thank you so much.
Jasper, God bless you and thank you.